Hey everyone, this is Jairo from The Grind Fitness and welcome to my channel. On this channel, you're going to learn how to take care of your body while we do this wonderful sport called Jiu-Jitsu. Everything from joint strength training classes to mobility classes, as well as yoga and many other professionals to teach you what is the best path for you and your Jiu-Jitsu journey. If you haven't already, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. You know what to do. Share this with somebody if you think this might help the community to be able to take care of their body for their journey on Jiu-Jitsu. Oos, guys. Hope to see you on the mat. Oos, guys. Good morning on this Sunday morning. Hope everybody's doing okay. So there's some kids here, basically, so you're going to hear some background noise every once in a while, just some kids playing around. Well, welcome to another class. Today we're going to do a little bit of fingers. Yeah, let's just get to it. So first thing we're going to do, stay in the seated position. We're just going to start with some wrist C.A.R.s. So what I want you to do is take the opposite hand, grab your own wrist, karate chop your hand. And what you're going to do is you're going to just do the largest possible circles you can with your wrist. The key here is slow and controlled. Trying to keep the karate chop hand as still as possible. Go ahead and change directions if you haven't already. Nice and slow. Awesome. Switch to the opposite hand. Karate chop the hand. Flexion, adduction. Oh, excuse me, that was extension. This is flexion. Abduction, extension, adduction. This hand is much harder for me. Opposite direction. Shake it off. So one of the things that you guys got to understand with your fingers is that because if you're doing a lot of jiu-jitsu gis, these muscles, the flexors, basically the fingers that do this, are being massively overworked and in a very shortened state. So one of the primary things you basically need to do is release a little bit of tension in your hands. So what you want to do is, this is just a way that you can give therapy on yourself. So you literally go finger by finger. And I pull back my finger to try to literally straighten the finger as best I can. Because you need to unwind that isometric tension that you get from holding on to the grips of jiu-jitsu. So that's what we're going to do. Pick a hand, start with your pinky finger, and just stretch each individual finger. If you do a good job, just to give you a little, like, here, you're going to feel like a stretch in between each knuckle, and that's what we want. We're trying to stretch those knuckles. Go to our next finger. And then next, go at your own pace. This one I've jammed before, so I can feel the crookedness of my actual finger. It's funny how you can tell the difference between like your normal finger that's not injured and the one that's injured. Next finger. This one feels deep. I feel it right here on the knuckle all the way down my hand into my wrist. I go to the thumb. Thumb's usually not that bad. This for me, it's usually the middle finger that's hurt and the pinky that's overworked. Switch, other hand. Start at the pinky. So this seems very tedious, but it's necessary. This is just, you're literally giving therapy to yourself. And you won't see the there's no immediate gratification to this process here. It's like a daily or like two to four times a week type of thing. And your hands will be grateful in the long run, because your fingers are going to get messed up doing jiu-jitsu. And if you don't proactively try to take care of your fingers, you're going to have like bent fingers, permanently swollen fingers. I've seen some horrible jiu-jitsu fingers. So I'm being serious. This is important. Don't disfigure your hand. Switch to the next one. Gym is busy this morning. All right. So now let's do a little bit of flexion and extension, but actively. So what I want you to think is put your hands up in front of you, and what you're going to do is you're going to go from one knuckle at a time. So I think you're bending the very top knuckle. I don't know if you can see it here. And then you're going into the second knuckle, and then into the third knuckle, and then you're making a fist, squeezing the fist, and then you're rolling it back down. And then you're reversing. So you're opening it up, open up your hand, try to do one knuckle at a time as you extend those fingers back, and then really try to contract these muscles here and here's the extension muscles here, but to literally bend your finger backwards. And then you're going to repeat. So start at the very top, second knuckle, third knuckle, make a fist, flex the fingers, and then reverse. That's awesome. That was good. Okay, let's get into the first position. So we're coming up to tabletop. So just as a reminder for some of the, if you're new to these type of classes, when I say tabletop, there's a couple positions you want to be conscious of. So the first one is the meat of your hands need to be like kind of pressing into the mat. Before you actually put your fingers down, what you want to do is kind of put a little bit of load into that meaty part of your hand. You're going to separate your fingers or splay your fingers as wide as you comfortably can. Then you're going to put your fingers down. From that position, you push the crook of the elbow forward, then shift the weight forward, so that your hands are now underneath your shoulders and your elbows with your fingers completely spread. So that way we also do another type of stretch, or an additional stretch for our fingers while we do all the other activities as well. Okay? From this position, we're just going to walk our knees forward until we can decrease this angle here and have a stretch on this side of the arm. So if you're feeling discomfort on this side, it's what's called the closed angular pain, which means that there's something funky going on in your wrist. I don't know what it'll be, but everyone's got something. So you don't want to lean into that. You want to go right up to it. So wherever you feel the discomfort, you want to kind of back up about 10 or 15%, so that you're like kind of knocking on the door of like whatever that discomfort is. If not, just ease back as far as you possibly can. But really the goal is you're trying to stretch this part of your forearm. So give me a second while I find my end range. Okay, on this one I feel it more in my hand. On this one I feel it more on my forearm. Now let's just sit here for a little bit. Really try to splay your fingers, make those little micro adjustments. So when we start doing the pails are going to be pushing, gas pedaling my hand through the mat. Right now, just keep stretching. That's going to be the push part. The rails is going to be trying to lift my fingers up and backwards. It's going to be almost impossible to do it. The point is not to actually lift your fingers up. It's to fire those muscles and make that neural connection. And here we go. Start pressing the fingers. Think as if the mat is like sand and you're trying to scoop sand up from the mat. Maintain that 40% effort. Breathe. This kind of work elevates your heart rate quite a bit. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Keep digging those fingers through the mat. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse. Try to lift those fingers up. Straighten those arms as you lift those fingers up. 3, 2, 1. Relax the tension everywhere. Wow, that was intense. And here we go again. Start pressing. Press even harder this round. Keep pressing harder. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and reverse. Try to lift those fingers up. Keep those elbows locked. Lift those fingers up. 3, 2, 1. Relax the tension. Okay, now we're going to do lift-offs. So what I want you to do here is relax here for a second, catch your breath. Whew. It elevated my heart rate quite a bit. Okay, from here, what you're going to do is you're going to engage these muscles, and then you're going to back away from the tension. So fire those muscles, and then pull your hands back. Relax the tension everywhere. Stretch yourself forward. Make those things fire, and pull yourself away. Last one. Oh, man. Wow, that was intense. Okay, let's just do a few low radiation C.A.R.s. So just circles. You're trying to keep your forearm as still as possible. Switch directions. Oh, that was intense. All right. So now we're going to do the opposite. Now we're going to put ourselves like in a wrist lock. Okay, I'm going to face the camera for a little while. So basically you're spreading your fingers and spreading your hands here. Let me move this way so that way I'm not with the lettering there. Okay. And what we're doing is we're trying to like slowly bend our hand this way is what we're trying to accomplish. So you're going to find that sweet spot where you can straighten your arm and spread your fingers at the same time and get like a good stretch here on the top side of the forearm. And then just hold it. This one does not feel good at all. You're basically wrist locking yourself in this position. We're giving your wrist strength in both directions, finding space, getting more length and more on the short side and on the long side of your grips. Just sit here for a little bit. Okay, the pails part is going to be trying to backhand through the mat, and then the rails part is going to be trying to make a fist and try to bend your fingers even more towards your forearm. So here we go. Start pressing your fingers down. Oh, wow. That's intense. That is at 40% more. And maintain it. Wow, this is intense. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Reverse. Make a fist. Straighten your arm more. Try to bend your wrist towards yourself. 2, 1. Relax. Oh, wow, that was intense. Relax, attention everywhere. Breathe into the new space that you just made. And here we go. Start again. Start backhanding the mat. Maintain it. Push. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Reverse. Make a fist. Bend, 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 bend. 3, 2, 1. Oh. Wow. Wow, that was intense. So I felt that here, on this right here, this musculature right here, and then on here when I did this. So I felt like a stretch or engagement of muscle tissue that I normally don't have access to was firing here and stretching on this side. A couple more CARs, just low irradiation here. Awesome. All right, so now let's do some elbow CARs. Tuck your toes in the back. Let me back up a little bit. From here, all you're going to do is you're basically going to rotate one bone in your forearm on top of the other. The idea is to keep your elbow stationary so that the rotation happens at the elbow. That we're not asking the wrist to help, or not asking the shoulder to help. So everything's got to stay very still as you rotate that bone. And if you can see the muscle tissue in my forearm, it literally looks like a spiral rotation, which is what we're trying to accomplish. Now, when we're doing these, once you can't go no more, try not to force it at the wrist. We're trying to keep everything locked in place and trying to increase that rotational by like 1 or 2 degrees. So that's what you want to do when you're doing these, is you want to max out that end range, whatever that is, and then see if you can hold it and go like lean into it like 1 or 2 extra percent. Doesn't matter whether you actually can or not. It's teaching your bones to do rotation. So you do elbow rotation. Just like we've done classes for knee rotation, elbow rotation is important. It's not just flexion and extension, this is primary. We don't do anything for this. Help this. Sounded really confusing, but basically rotation will help all the other things that you do with your arms. Okay, so here we go. So just pin your elbows to your side, and we're gonna do this for a certain period of time. There's no number here. So again, the goal here is to max out end ranges. Few more. Oh. All right, well, my whole forearm is all pumped right now. Okay, one last thing we're going to do just to kind of put everything together is we're going to warm up our shoulder joint, and we're going to try to disassociate the shoulder joint from your scapula. And what that does is when we're doing like scapular push-ups, it forces you to align every other joint from the fingers up to the shoulder in order for you to have that stability to be able to hold everything tight so that you can actually independently move the shoulder blades. Okay, but first we got to warm up rotation of the shoulder. So get into that wrist lock position. You're going to take the opposite hand, you're going to pin it down, and then we're just going to warm up by going in and out. So just think internal, external rotation of the shoulder joint. And I'm doing 10. So in and out is 1. That was 10 for me. Switch to the other side. Take your time. There's no rush with these. Awesome. Then we're going to do a little bit of scapular C.A.R.s. We're just kind of going up. We're going back. We're going down. We're going forward. The idea here is to try to keep the spine as stationary as possible and think that you're just trying to move your shoulder blades around your rib cage in its maximal rotation. Change directions. This takes work the way I'm doing it. It's something that you have to be constantly be talking to that shoulder girdle to be able to do that. Okay, so now we're going to do scapular push-ups. So we're going to start on our toes just because for most of us, we kind of cheat the motion. If you don't understand how to communicate to your shoulder blades, what people do is that the ego gets in the way and they end up using too much load, which is all of their body weight. This is not about load. This is about communicating to your shoulder blades. Okay, so no ego here. So we're basically getting into what's called the girl push-up. So you're on your knees and you're kind of shifting your weight forward. So same principle with the meat of the hands. So place the meat of the hands, separate the fingers, crooked the elbow forward, and then just shift your weight forward. Okay? Once you're there, the idea is pressing the ground away, externally rotating everything so that everything is firing and stiff. And then all you're going to do is you're going to just pinch your shoulder blades, separate your shoulder blades. Pinch your shoulder blades, separate your shoulder blades. We're doing 10 of these. One last one for me. And sit back for just a second. So those get really intense because your hand is worked and warmed up. So you have like maximal flexibility at the wrist. You have strong warmed up elbow joint. That by the time we end up doing this, everything is like able to contract isometrically to isolate the scapula very well. And then when that happens, you get more out of this actual exercise instead of doing it with fucking like at the beginning of class with in the push-up position, because it's much harder because it's much more load. And let's go again. So shift forward again. Press the ground away, crook the elbow, and up and down. Pinch, separate. Pinch, separate. last one. Back. Come back to seated. Whew. All right. That's it for today. Basically, fingers, massaged ourselves, basically. Just so you know, what I would recommend to do is, I would say like maybe once every 6 months, once a year, go to a massage therapist and have them work on your hands, like literally, like do a deep tissue massage, but on your hands. So have them work on the musculature on the outside of your fingers, break up and massage the rigidity on the inside of your fingers, because that's what's going to happen if you consistently keep doing jiu-jitsu, because those muscles are getting strong because they're working really hard. So you got to kind of knead those out. And you can do it to yourself, but there's nothing better than having someone do it for you. And it does not feel good. But when you're done, you literally feel like you're like, oh, my fingers feel so light. But you don't need to do it too often. If you do that in combination with this, your fingers will maintain their dexterity as things get stronger. Okay? Oosh, guys, I appreciate you watching. See you the next time.